Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is 1 minute after 4. This is the City of Meridian Solid Waste Advisory Commission regular meeting for Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. We'll start off with roll call. Identify if you're present. Kaylee Philippi,
Here.
Megan Larson,
Here.
Mark Nelson,
Here.
Rand Spywak,
Here.
Scott Walters,
Here.
Sean Keating,
Here.
Steve Corey, here. Taryn Richmond,
Here.
Tom Audie,
Here.
and ex officio member Rochelle Klein.
Here.
All members being present, we'll go ahead and proceed on with the agenda. A draft agenda has gone out for your consideration. Are there any comments on the proposed agenda?
Mr. Chair, no comments. Move to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the draft agenda be approved as written. Further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor of approving the agenda as drafted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. So we'll move on to approval of the minutes from the May 25th meeting. Are there any comments on the draft minutes?
Mr. Chair, no comments, but I move the draft minutes be approved as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the draft minutes for the May 25th meeting be approved as written. Are there any further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. With that, we'll move into staff program reports. Sayre, go ahead and start off with the household recycling mailer.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update that the story stroll is going through, and hopefully next week I'm going to meet with the printers and have that all squared away. Unfortunately, the mailer was put on hold until we'll re-review it in October. So we're not going through with that, unfortunately. Part of it was due to waiting on next year's budget.
Any questions or comments by members of the commission?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Sayre, we can't mail out the mailers for now, but can we still produce those in a digital form and share where we can?
Yes, yeah, I'm actually going to modify it to get rid of that address window and make that page bigger. And then we'll have it on the internet, on our website, and then we can use it for, like Public Works Week, events like that, or if someone needs one. So that's fine. We can do that. We're not able to do the bulk printing and bulk mail out to all households for this fiscal year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Further comments or questions? Thank you, Sayre, for that information. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next one, which is Republic Services FY23 rate review, which will be coming up in July. Sayre, do you want to go ahead and?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that Republic Services will be giving the rate proposal to us and we'll review it. And then in the July meeting, our SWAC meeting, we can review that then. So just giving you a heads up on that. That's what we'll be primarily doing during the July meeting, unless there's other stuff that someone needs to talk about.
And if I understand right, the CPI adjustment is looking at like about 5.4%.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
So,
For the industry, the trash and recycling industry specifically.
So not as bad as maybe we thought, but still going to be significant. So there'll be a good deal of discussion next month. Members of the commission, do you have any questions about the information that's been presented? Well, Sayard, we look forward to the presentation next month.
Okay, thanks.
And/or Republic, if Republic's making that. With that, we'll move on into old business. I want to take a quick second to thank you all for this spate of outreach activities that we've had recently. I know a lot of organizations are trying to get traction and get back into the swing of things, and yet we've managed to bring our 3 items, spring items back up, the Trash or Treasure, the Public Works Expo, and the Recycle a Bicycle. And with that, we'll kind of look at some of these individual items. For starters, the Public Works Week summary. Commissioner Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the Public Works Expo was on June 8th. SWAC had a booth inside. We were in the meeting room over there, just inside the door. And then the city was outside with Republic at the same event. I thought the turnout was pretty good. It was hard to see the outside crowd, but I tracked for a while how many people stopped by our booth, and then I got too busy to keep my tally. So I would estimate we had about 75 folks that we talked with. Our focus was at our booth was mainly on the squishy water bottles and that program. And then we had some info about Recycle a Bicycle. And there it has some pictures. So I got to talk to everybody about the squishy water bottles and how they can recycle those. And then I had the flyer that Sayard had created as a handout, and I was able to hand out quite a few of those, or we were. I would say the majority of comments that we got was around what can I put in my cart for recycling and what I can't, and lots of confusion there. So I think anything we can do to get that information out to the community, and then look forward to the ability to mail it to all the households, I think that will be helpful. It was definitely the most questions that we got. Folks were also interested in Recycle a Bicycle and how they could donate bikes that they had to that program. So I think for next year, having a little handout with some information about Recycle a Bicycle will be helpful too. We just had pictures and stuff on display there. Thanks to the commissioners that were there to help out. And I think that's all that I have on that. You want to talk, Sayard, about what was going on outside?
Yeah, so I just put together a few pictures. So the inside booth and then us outside, Conrad and I, Michelle, Bob, Jay, and then Timber Creek were all in one area. And we did a sorting game and had a map of where your recyclables go to after leaving the MRF. So people were interested in that. Oh, and then some good pictures of painting the roll-off. So that was fun. Was able to get all 4 sides. And then also people were able to sit inside the truck. And then a lot of these are Rochelle. She did some good pictures. And then lastly, now it's back at the transfer station to fill up with cardboard. So yeah, it was fun. The weather was nice. You know, it rained earlier in the day, but it was nice when the actual event was going on.
Members of the commission, do you have any questions or comments about the Public Works Week booths?
Just, I appreciate Commissioner Larson getting us organized, and I ended up stepping out to see what was going on, and I was kind of stuck at the painting booth, I guess, for most of the rest of my time. It was super popular, and yeah, the weather couldn't have been better. And of course, every kid seems to like a recycle truck. That was another big hit. Long lines there. So we ended up kind of working both booths because, you know, some of these parents would come up with 4 or 5 kids and they couldn't get them all in the truck at once. So we all had to do shift work.
Well, indeed, thank you for Republic Services and Timber Creek and everyone that helped staff and ourselves go ahead and do that outreach effort. With that, we'll go ahead and move into the next outreach activity, Recycle a Bicycle. And Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We already talked about kind of Recycle a Bicycle itself in our event in May, but for whatever reason, there's just been a surge of donations. And this photo here is just where people drop off bikes. And plus there's 3 or 4 piles as big as this or bigger, closer to where our staging area is. So a couple of Tuesdays to go on June 14th, I think ended up with Rochelle Sayard and I spent, I don't know, 3 hours or so just sorting through these piles and shuttling the good ones back to our staging area. And we cleaned up quite a few bikes back there and picked out what we could just put into metal recycling. We must have recycled 50, 75 bikes or more. And we got more work to do. And so we might try to pencil in another Tuesday of next week to do more house cleaning. I think we still need to get ahead of making that a little more presentable over there and see where we're at. And then I might ask Rochelle to speak to if we have any more pending requests that we can help get some of that stuff out of your office, or I threw that out there for your boss.
Yeah, for my boss. Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Nelson, yes, the Recycle a Bicycle program is going really well. So I think we had 58 people sign up through the Unplugged event. And then some of those people didn't get their bikes. So we gave some of those bikes to SHIP, which does transitional housing. So people who are moving into at least apartment houses. We gave them, I think, 12 bikes. And then we gave some to the rescue mission for men who get jobs. So the Boise Rescue Mission is a men's only shelter. So we gave 10 bikes to them. And then we will be taking 20 to the Nampa Housing Authority for children's bikes. And then another 50 children's bikes to the Farmway Village, which is a migrant worker encampment that's kind of semi-permanent in Caldwell. And so families come up and they spend the whole summer up there, and then they generally leave. A lot of them leave in the fall, but before COVID, we took 100 bicycles out there, and a lot of those went home with those people. And so we reached back out to them and they said they'd love to have bikes again. So that will move a lot of our kids' bikes. Most of the bikes we've been, the orders we've been fulfilling have been young adult and adult bikes, so not a lot of little kids' bikes. So we'll take some of those to the Housing Authority in Farmway Village and kind of reset from there. Yes, but a lot of us have been spending a lot of time after work doing bikes.
Yeah, we'll get it to where we can get those kind of out there in the community, and then we can kind of get organized again. And I would ask that if you have one of those events where you're taking those out there, do you participate in that? Or does your crew?
Yes, yeah, I do. And if any of you are interested in taking bikes out there, we'd love for you to come. So
Yeah, I'd love to know when you're doing that. And if I could,
sure.
Participate. And then also we did complete an order of miscellaneous tools and a toolbox and some other things to help us be a little bit more organized. So rather than having to haul tools back and forth and bike stands, the last month or so, Sayard has ordered for us a bike stand and some tools. And then I just gave her another list a few weeks ago. She just spent another 118.44 or so for me. So when all that stuff comes in, we'll probably one of these events on that Tuesday night, kind of inventory all that stuff and see if there's anything else we might need. Some tools you don't want to work for everybody, but if you get a big crew, you need more than 2 screwdrivers. So we'll kind of end up with something that's a little more easy to store at Republic Services and help clean up your closet a little bit, and then easy to transport when we have an event like May in Motion. And once again, while we're here, thanks again to Republic Services for giving us more and more space all the time. And I'd like to say too, their staff has gotten to where they kind of treat me like one of their own. They kind of wave me through, and they just want to make sure that they know where I'm at for safety, and they coordinate with me to make sure things are locked if some of us are past their closing time. So I super appreciate that. And like I said, I never thought I'd get to where I was part of the crew at the transfer station. Thanks again.
So, Mark, do you want to go ahead and set something for Tuesday, or do you want to just communicate with us if it comes together? And
Can we kind of plan on Tuesday, 4 o'clock today? And if for some reason we have to cancel it, I'd rather do that. You know, Sunday, I'll be out of town, and when I get home Sunday, we'll kind of look at the weather. Now, so far, about every Tuesday, it would rain on us, but I don't expect that the next couple. And I do have a shade cover I can bring. Oh yeah, the wind is the worst. Oh, has it? You know, when it gets this hot, sometimes it's the wind and the dust that's hard to work in. But we still kind of verify if it's a good work day. And then right now, we're not really repairing bikes. We're just trying to get clean house and recycle whatever we can and get those out of our way, and then get the bikes that are already working back in the community. Eventually, we'll actually go back to working sessions of repairs later down the road. Tuesday, 95% in the book.
members of the commission, do you have any comments or any questions about the report? Very good. We'll go ahead and move on. And being as the next month or so, we may have quite a bit of activity with the annual fee review. I wanted to go ahead and take a second and talk about outreach, knowing where we've been, and if there's some outreach activities that any of the commissioners wanted to go ahead and lay on the table at this point for us to start looking for later in the summer or in the fall, or even concurrently if it's something we can put together. So this is kind of an open discussion. If you've got a particular outreach pathway that you want to lay on the table and let us start thinking about, now would be a great time to go ahead and suggest it. And I know one of the things that had been mentioned before, which I certainly am highly interested in, would be a youth outreach activity. But being as it's summer now, is that a little too difficult to go ahead and initiate anything? Kaylee, I don't know if you got any suggestions.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
No, I was saying, yeah, it is summertime. So I know like people do go to like parks and stuff. And so I like the story walk that you guys had done before. Cause that's something that do in the summer that's not in school.
Are there programs that we can partner with Parks and Rec? I know, when do they start doing the movies at the park and those sorts of things for youth?
Those already started. What's going on right now?
Well, it seems like they'd be candidates for like the story walk and those sorts of things, right?
There'll probably be too many people there. So the story stroll, we're going to send it to different parks. And then basically where there's a place to walk, for example, Kleiner Park or Fuller Park, there's the pathway through the park. So it'll be along there for around two weeks, and then we'll move it to a next park. So that will just, throughout the summer, it will go to different parks. Yeah, there's a lot of people at these places, but there's also potential to get those damaged. So trying to think of balancing both those ideas.
How do you communicate to the community that the story walks at this park now or that park?
Yeah, so we'll do that on social media, and we can also do it on the website, and then it'll just be word of mouth too when people go to the parks. We also are thinking about doing something where you can like, hey, take a picture of yourself with the story stroll and send it in so we can post that on Facebook or Twitter, and so we can have that engagement as well.
And Mr. Chairman, we've been, I should say we loosely, been doing Touch a Truck events, and we have one coming up at New Horizons in Meridian. I think Conrad, that'll be his 5th or 6th Touch a Truck event where we rifle through, 100+ coloring books, and kids get in the truck, and it generally, sometimes it's parents, like we did the Father's Day car show this weekend, and we had hundreds of kids getting in the trucks, but we do have one coming up in Meridian in July, so the next month. Those are just good opportunities for young kids, not the older kids.
Just to make a comment, Rochelle, about the electric trash truck for Father's Day. I've heard like 30 people now talk about how cool that was, and they voted for the best car for the car show.
Yeah, Commissioner Keating's right. We won the best, we won one of the best in class awards for the electric truck. And so luckily Billy Cecil, our maintenance manager, went, and he was unstumpable when people had electric truck questions. So he was there, didn't even have a chance. He got there at 7:30 and worked straight through to 3:45 without a break because it was so busy. And there was always a line of squealing kids and grandmas and parents and everybody getting in and out of the electric truck. So it was pretty cool.
Rand, do you want to talk about, is there anything we can be doing with homeowners associations during this time period that might be useful?
Their annual meetings take place all throughout the year, so it's not like they're all meeting in the summer. I'm not sure if they're, other than just emailing the HOAs where we have addresses, or management companies who then can put it on their own web pages and individual HOA web pages. We've got those contact lists, but that's it. There's no event that they go to.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's valuable to offer to come and speak to those organizations and make ourselves available to answer questions?
To a homeowners association
Meeting. Mm-hmm.
Sure, if they want to put it on the agenda.
Mm-hmm. See, I think your list of contacts is the city's list, so.
No, it's the state's list.
The state's list, okay.
I'm more than happy to speak to at any HOA meeting. I do 3, 4, 5 a week anyway, meeting with their boards, and go to some of the annual meetings when they're having a difficult agenda, a battle in an election or whatever, just to help. But I'll be glad to speak if we have an HOA that wants to a report on what we're doing with with solid waste.
Let me offer that if you do hear that they do want to go ahead and have someone from the city come over and talk about it, and if you want me to go to the meeting instead of you, so you're not stuck going to every single one, I'd be happy to do that, and I'd be happy to go with you if you want to go ahead and have a couple people present, but
Don't mind at all.
I'd like to pursue if there's something down that path that might help us get information out.
Sure.
So I would just add, sharing the flyer about what can go in the card and what can't digitally, maybe as part of the utility bill, or I'm sure it's going to be shared social media and so forth. But I think with all the new folks, there's just a lot of confusion because people going by the numbers or the recycling symbol on the items rather than what actually can be recycled in Meridian. And then with multifamily, particularly maybe some of the larger complexes, that there is recycling available at the transfer station, lots of cardboard boxes, I'm sure, through at those places. So outreach to the apartment complexes or the management companies, and I can look into that as well. But if we had something to share with them about the transfer station or
I don't know if you guys, if we should do train a trainer. It's a thing where, you know, we could do a presentation. I could do a presentation and talked about what's accepted and what's not and why. That might be something that may be valuable if then you guys are going to go out and spread the word about this information. That might be something that we organize to do. I guess, what's the time frame of when you guys were thinking about starting this? Or are you just going to compile and reach out to homeowners first to see if anybody's interested?
As far as that particular activity with the homeowners association, I think it'll be a situation where Rand would be talking with them and suggesting the subject, and then they would get back to us and say, yeah, we'd like to have that subject on our annual meetings agenda. So I would imagine it'd be at least a month before something would come together, maybe even longer than that. So there would be time to go ahead and do a train the trainer.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Just keep me posted about when then, and I'll develop something and then we'll get together one evening to do that.
Mr. Chairman, I think that you might get more response from contacts through events that are sponsored by the Mayor's Senior Advisory Board, because they go far beyond just the senior citizens, and events that are taking place all the time that we might have a way to get information out about recycling, solid waste, whatever. It's an interesting group, and they talk to hundreds every week.
Let me fine tune that. You're suggesting that maybe we provide them information because they get out and talk to people, or that would be a place where we could go talk to many people at once.
If you went to the monthly, one of their monthly meetings of the board, and then they could see how that could fit into some of the activities they have with the senior center, with HOAs, with a lot of things, a lot of different groups, because they're always doing something. It might be a good way to spread the good word.
Do you want to go ahead and ask them if it should get on the agenda? I mean, I could go other ways if you'd like to have someone else do it, but okay. Yeah, if you would just get back to us and identify if there is interest, and if there is, what meeting would be convenient for them, and then what subjects they would like to go ahead and have discussed.
every month they have one of the city's departments or department heads, Parks and Rec, and others that have presented what they do, what their structure is, the services they provide the city. And little by little, we're rotating through the entire city. There's no reason that SWAC can't do the same thing. I'll check into it.
That sounds perfect. And Sarah and I can show up, or however we set it up, depending on what they're actually interested in for information. Any further thoughts at this moment? That's kind of a few nice things that we can actually start trying to add to our list. So feel free to go ahead and provide suggestions if you come up with something in the future. But with that, we'll go ahead and move on to new business. And this kind of is on the agenda a little bit awkwardly. I certainly have no expectation that we would be participating in Dairy Days parade this Saturday. It's a little too quick, but unless someone has something they know they want to go ahead and hand out, well, I guess I just should start off with, is Republic going to be in the parade?
No, Mr. Chairman, we are participating in different ways, but not in the parade.
Ah, okay.
Chair, I think Timber Creek is going to be in the parade, though.
Oh, okay. Well, Sarah, if you want to go ahead and kick up those photos, I do want to take this time to say it's been 5 years since we went ahead and rolled out the original hand-in-hand bin, and that's become kind of a stalwart thing that we've got, a bit of cash that comes into the community recycling fund. When that came out in 2017, Republic went ahead and loaded it on a truck bed and went ahead and entered it into the parade. And we walked alongside with some bookmarks that we were handing out to let people know that it existed. These are some of the photos of the truck going down the road.
Where'd you find gasoline at that price?
5 years ago, it was, I don't know how we let it go. So anyway, it was a fun event in the evening and stuff. Maybe I want to go ahead and kind of place this in the record because I'm not sure how many of the people that are on the commission now actually participated in the event, but it was something we have done in the past. And anyway, just as kind of a thought-provoking item, like was suggested, if there are events going around the city, we certainly can tie in with those and go ahead and do something. Indeed, even like once we do the mailer this, if it does come together this fall, we can have a few of those available at the mayor's coffees too. So
Everywhere.
everywhere. And so this is kind of a bit of a gift. It is a nice summer evening and stuff, but that pretty much takes care of all the information I put on the agenda for this month, since next month could be a long one. But if there's anything else that any of the commissioners want to go ahead and bring at this time, that would be the appropriate time to mention an announcement or something.
Mr. Chair, I think Timber Creek wanted to speak for a minute, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, do and state your name, Mike, for the record.
Mike McGurdio, Timber Creek Recycling. Mr. Chairman, if SWAC so chooses and wants to, we would offer either members of SWAC to walk with us, or we can hand out things that you guys want to present. Because that's what you're saying that you did last time with Republic. You were able to hand out things, right? If you guys want us to do that during the parade, we can do that as well. Or if you guys want to walk with us, you're more than welcome.
I really appreciate the offer, Mike. I guess the concept here is it's only what, 72, 96 hours notice on this thing. I'm not sure anybody wants to step up and try to put something together to be able to hand out, but obviously the opportunity is there.
Unfortunately, I'll be out of town this weekend. I don't know if anyone else. Anything in the queue?
I just want to make sure the offer was there.
Thank you.
Thank you for the offer, definitely. But I definitely feel that's kind of the case, that at least this cycle, we don't really have anything prepared to be able to hand out. So, but it's certainly something that could happen in the future, and keep thinking about the possibilities. I know every time we open ourselves up, there's a lot of people that come up and want to know the details of getting their trash out to the curb or their recycling in, and they are always hungry for the information. So I guess any path we see to go ahead and get information out will be rewarding. With that, if there's no further announcements, then Rand.
Mr. Chair, I do have a request with the rate discussion coming up, and I clearly understand that it's the rate is a index-based guarantee. It's not based on anything else, but I would like to have, in advance of the meeting, is our is Republic's fiscal year January 1, December 31st? If it's possible to get set of profit and loss statements for the last fiscal year and the first 6 months of this year, a pro forma would be great. If we can do just our division that covers Meridian, our area, then to take a look at it. I'd sure like to be able to report back to people that ask questions. This rate increase is really warranted, whether it's guaranteed or not. But you can't do that if I can't see financials.
So the city's fiscal year is different.
Don't care about cities, care about republics.
Okay.
So I can probably answer part of that. We always provide financial information to the city. So we will, I'll have to work with Bob on what, some of that's rolled into a larger book of business. So I don't know how proprietary that is to share. I mean, it's good for residents to know, and we can certainly share all of our expenses year over year and things like that. So we'll get you what we can as far as outside of what we share with the city.
Further announcements? Very good. Then we'll go ahead and call the meeting adjourned. It is 40 minutes after 4, and have a good bit of the summer. We'll see you at the July meeting.